Hi, welcome to our first podcast of our second residency at Uncommon Creative Studio. I'm Derek Yates, I'm Head of Creative Lab at Ravensbourne University, and I'm going to be the host for this podcast. And I'm here with four of the superstars from last year's residency. You can give a round of applause if you want, I don't know. We're relaxing a minute, we're starting quite formal. So guys, would you want to introduce yourselves? So maybe if we start with Taya.
Hi guys, I'm Taya de Silvan on Adam Brand, third year.
I'm Heaven. I'm on Adam Brand as well, third year.
Same as me, Adam Brand. My name's Chloe.
I'm Anand. I'm from graphic design, so not Adam Brand. Graphic design.
Brilliant. So we're calling this podcast 1 year on, and it felt like a really kind of ideal way to kick off the second residency. Is to kind of look back at the first residency and get the people who were part of it to talk about their experience. I suppose just to give some context, if you're kind of watching this and you think, what the hell is it was the Uncommon Residency. This time last year, I brought 17 students from Ravensbourne University, and we took over the first floor of the Uncommon Creative Studio. And they had incredible 4 weeks of activities. They set an amazing brief that looked at British culture, and they ended up presenting their ideas to a kind of panel of industry representatives. It was felt like a kind of groundbreaking experience, and I could talk forever about what I learned as an educator. But we're trying to today we're going to try and pick the bones out of what we did last year a little bit, and maybe introduce what we're going to do this year. So I suppose maybe if we start, I'd just like each of you to maybe explain what last year's residency from your perspective. So what did you do last year? Just a kind of you to take it away. I mean, you don't need any encouragement from me to talk, and then we'll kind of go across maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it really showed of how you can work on a brief properly, because we do a lot of work on briefs at uni, like in our course. But I think the way we did it and the way we went about it here was so different that it kind of gave a snapshot into, like, at the moment we just finished UNAD, and it was quite a similar vibe of getting like a brief and researching, and kind of showed us how it kind of goes. And I think also it gave us, we can all say we had a really good time. So I think all of us can say that it's given us a lot of like confidence and a lot of excitement going into industry, because we were like, oh, we loved it so much, So I think, it's kind of just shown us what industry can kind of be and look like day to day.
Brilliant. What about you, Heaven? What was it?
I think it was a nice like first kind of glance of like actual like primary like being inside of an agency. Because at Ravensbourne, obviously we get a lot of industry like mentors come in, but this was like the first time that we'd like been able to infiltrate their world and like have like a real first-hand experience of what it was like. We spoke to so many people, so many lovely people that we were able to connect with since our residency. And I think it was just a really big, like Taya said, a big confidence boost at the like middle to end of the second year to like get us really prepared for and a little less scared to get into the third year, where it's like now you go into the big world. We kind of had that prep beforehand. And it was just a bit of fun. Like it was really, really fun, really educational, but in an environment that fostered like more like exploration and less like strict like rules and regulations, I would say.
That's interesting, isn't it? It's because you said the more exploration on an industry project. The university is kind of, people think of it the other way around. But yeah, interesting. So Chloe, what about you? How would you describe kind of the first residency? Because you went on quite a journey, right?
Yeah, kind of. I think I did. I think it was interesting to work within like an actual industry dynamic. I feel like in education, like in the course that we're doing, like Adam Brand, we have to kind of like, we're across all areas. Whereas I feel like in the placement, I was able to kind of specialize a little bit more and experience what that would be like in the industry. So I was mainly strategy, ideation, and then I could kind of pass. I was art direction as well, but I could pass the design off a little bit. So I feel like it was cool to kind of experience the role in like a real setting for the first time. So yeah.
Good. Anand, what about you? Because you come from different
yeah,
course,
exactly.
different set of experiences.
This was like a completely different experience for me because like they come from ad and brand, so like they know like how to approach this brief. But I come from graphic design. We usually spend like behind a computer screen, not talking to anyone. So like this
So
was
that, I don't want to tell Mark that you're saying about that.
but like I mean we did talk to people, but like this was the first time like I've actually made an effort to like socialize and like get different perspectives on my project. And I guess like the way I approached it as well, like I usually research is like uh how I start my project, and then research just kind of stops, and then I do my design bit because like we're visual thinkers, like we mostly focus on visuals. But I think this by during this residency I've learned that research sort of like stays on until the end. So I think that's like that taught me like a different approach to like how to maybe like strategize, I guess. Yeah, but even like socially as well, I think I've been more active after the residency than I was before. And so like this was kind of a game changer for me as well.
Great, brilliant. So you had 4 weeks here. So maybe if you could just give us a flavour of some of the things that happened during those 4 weeks. So we kind of landed here on a Monday. What was the first thing that we did, if you can remember?
I think we first got briefed on the brief for that year, and we were all kind of just like
Breakfast.
Oh no, yeah, we
No,
had
yeah.
breakfast.
St. Patrick's Day as well, so the vibes are up. Vibes are up.
And we got briefed in after breakfast.
So who briefed you?
Nils, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That
That
was
was
crazy.
that was crazy because that was also obviously like such a big personality in advertising, and us coming from school is kind of like a bit intimidating. So we were all like very professional and like back straight. But we got briefed in, and we kind of all just kind of went off and tried to ideate and like talk amongst ourselves. And I think that was the first like interaction with industry was that first briefing, which was really fun, I think.
So what kind of interaction did you have with the Uncommon staff? How did that work?
It was really, I think they really enjoyed, I think we enjoyed them being like coming up to us, but I think they sometimes enjoyed us being there, because I think when we were doing feedback sessions, they were really invested in like helping us and supporting us, and supporting us, not only giving us better ideas, but supporting the ideas that we had. And I think even just around like us around the office, I think we kind of settled in quite soon. But even just interacting with them, they were so nice and they were so welcoming to us. And you could tell that they really wanted to like help us with our projects and kind of stretch our ideas further. Because I think when we could go from like a school environment, sometimes you don't really have the chance to like do too much ideation, and you kind of just like, okay, this is a good idea, let's run with it. But I think we kind of learned as well, like you can sometimes stretch it. And they kept saying stuff like, make it famous, how can you make it famous? And what's that aha moment kind of like vibe. And I think that's kind of made us all kind of think, oh yeah, what is that? Like, how could we make this famous? Which kind of stretched us to like look at other ways we can interpret the same thing, just different ways. So yeah, I think that was good.
Yeah. So you also had some sessions that they call WTF. Yeah, one. Yeah. So like, tell us about those sessions. What about the what the fuck sessions?
I think they were very insightful. Just a like short, brief description. They were talks from different aspects of like different departments, and there was kind of like what their role was, what their day-to-day would look like, how they fit within the whole like ecosystem of like an agency. And obviously, once like I said before, we do get people in, but seeing how specific roles that we never had heard of before, how they like fit into the puzzle piece of an agency was really insightful. Like I think the first time I figured out what like an account manager or an account director was here at Uncommon. And so those talks were really interesting as well. At the end of our second year, going into our third year, you're obviously expected to kind of niche down where you want to be in your future and like what roles you're potentially looking for. So having like a crash course of anything that we could have been from such a broad course was really helpful because it kind of helped weed out roles that we know aren't particularly for us, and then things that we can like maybe have a dabble in and maybe reaffirm things that we thought we were good at, if that makes sense. Yeah.
And I suppose so, Chloe, I mean, I think your experience, I remember kind of talking to you kind of halfway through about
Yeah.
the kind of realization of strategy and what strategy is.
Yeah.
Then if you want to just talk about that for a bit.
Yeah, so I feel like, and this is no fault of the university whatsoever, but I think I massively muddled up like the role of strategy in the role of creative.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought strategy was more like ideation, which it isn't. It's like research, translating it into a brief and then
Yeah.
passing it off. So yeah, I don't really want to make anything. Like I kind of want to come up with the thing that gets made. So like, yeah, I think it was nice to specialize over the course of the placement, and it like really reaffirmed that like I care about how it looks at the end, but like I'm so comfortable with just passing it off. And like I think, yeah, it definitely reaffirmed that I do want to go into advertising and I do want to specialize in like strategy, ideation, pass it off, next thing. So yeah.
No, it makes total sense. And it's hard, isn't it? I mean, I think there is this, I would say, somebody who works in education, is that there is within a kind of creative university, there is this focus on how something looks, and being a designer or somebody who can pull things together visually. And actually one of my realizations of being here is your perception of creative work and how creative work gets made, and what the skill set you need to make creative work is, and how maybe in industry that's much broader and more specialized. I suppose you came at this from a graphic design perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, did you find that during this brief you were a graphic designer throughout? Because you worked on your own, didn't you? So you had to kind of do everything.
So I'm like more of a visual person. I do ideation a lot, but like I think my strongest skill is visuals. Like I like to focus on like typography, imagery, and like the way, like the layouts and stuff. But like this this brief was like it started off with so much research that I forgot about visual stuff. I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
But like it was always I was subconsciously a visual designer and not like thinking about visuals. So like it was different, and like I think it changed the way I work as well. And like yeah, I think I'd say it's like it's a completely new workflow for me now. I think visuals are like secondary to me now, instead of like starting with visuals, I guess.
Great, really good answer. So I've got two questions for you, and I'll tee them up so that you've got time to think about them. So I suppose what I'm really interested in, what was the kind of best thing about the 4 weeks that you were here? What was the most brilliant thing that you did? And the second one is really, because it leads on from something that I've thought a lot since being here, is what were the differences in terms of how you learn here and how you learn at university? So the first thing is, what was the best thing? What was the thing that you really look back on and think, oh man, that was brilliant, right?
I think for me it was definitely just the amount, like the people that we did it with, like all of us lot and the others that were there. I don't know what, it's just weird because a lot of us are on the same course and we're still obviously on the same course, but we got to even learn stuff about each other, and we've been with each other for the past like 2 years, and like see each other in a different way and like interact with each other in a different way. But even meeting people outside of our course, which I feel like at Ravensbourne sometimes we haven't been able to do while on our course. So this part, we were just like, we just love it so much. Like, it's so nice to see. And now when we entered, like, when we started third year, we've been seeing people in the corridor. We're like, oh, you're right, guys. Like, and it kind of had that weird like family sense because we went through something together.
Yeah.
And that was like for me one of like the most like fun, like exciting parts. Because it's like, oh, like people that we've probably seen before, but we've never like spoken to. It's just kind of like we've spent 4 weeks together. So that was definitely it. And I think that's why for me, the last day when we kind of got to see everyone's stuff, it kind of was like, oh, like, you know, like a season finale of like a show, and it's like that's the vibe it was given. And I was just like, oh, like, look at us guys, like, we're so
Very proud.
Yeah, I was so proud of everyone. So yeah, that was definitely.
You did smash it though. I mean, it was quite amazing. One of the things that I definitely say, and I've written about this since, is that what really blew me away was that there were no winners and losers. Like, everybody's work was brilliant, you know. And I think I've thought a lot about how comes everything was brilliant. There's always kind of good work and bad work, but it was all good and it was all great. And of a really hard to kind of pick out what, you know, better or worse pieces because they were all so good, you know. I mean, I wonder why that was.
I think on that, I think we were kind of forced to work up, if that makes sense. Like, and being in a university setting, obviously it's all kind of dependent on yourself. This is my work, this is for my grade, this is for my degree. But being transplanted into an agency, it's kind of like, now I'm proving for something outside of myself. Like, I'm proving for the group, I'm proving, because we did form like a really strong bond. So it's like, I'm working for my portfolio, yes, but I'm working for the work that's going to be shown as this cohort. And then also I'm doing work for the thing that's like Ravensbourne X Uncommon. Like, this is a bigger thing. This is something that's bigger than me. So I think we all kind of strived to work up. And then also the whole thing drilled into us about like fame. That isn't something that we really get with our university projects, because it's like, this is just a university project. But this is like, how can you stretch your idea to like achieve fame and achieve that sort of status? So I think all of our work, like I agree with you so strongly, because I think all our work was something that was so like strong and so like could have been on like Good Morning Britain. Like, they were all like really up there, and I think it's because we were all collectively working to be up there and like to that standard of like agency work. This is uncommon. Like,
I think also everyone kind of was just having fun with it, and then like we forgot what you were doing. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I was just like, this is fun. Like, let me just do something wacky, because I think we just had we were in the environment, as you were saying, like the space to just do just the weirdest thing ever, and like it's like, oh, that makes sense, kind of like in an interesting way. So I think for us it was kind of just like, oh, how can we have that fun? And then we kind of was looking into each other's like projects, and we're like, oh, that's fun. Like, I remember like Lola and Esther's one, and we were like writing the money on it. And we kind of were like decorating the money, and it was just like, even stuff like that, we kind of were doing it together, and that like was just so like nice to just do it as a collective as well.
But that thing about doing it together, I think that I got a very strong sense of that. It didn't feel like there were like, I don't know, 9 teams or whatever it was, but you weren't in competition with.
it wasn't like hiding your work.
Like, it felt like everyone was kind of supporting each other, and to be honest with you, the kind of holy grail for anybody in education is when students start teaching each other, and because it saves us doing it. But I mean, I was kind of looking. I remember loads of times just looking over and seeing you guys helping each other out, and it really felt like you were really kind of supporting each other. It's a little bit of a kind of lump in the throat feeling, you know, but it was really it was really true. And I remember Julia on LinkedIn wrote a really nice piece about how you the best thing about the residency was just how proud she was of everybody, you know, like, and it's a really sweet thing to write, but I think I got a sense that it was really heartfelt, you know. So anyway, Chloe, best thing about the residency?
I think the best thing was like getting used to the pace of the industry. Like, the amount of feedback we got so quick. Like, me personally, with my ADHD, I was like, yeah, hit me. Like, keep it coming, because I feel like it's so easy to like stagnate with your work if you're not getting constant feedback. And also, like, a lot of times, like with us lot, not with us lot, because we actually can be quite harsh with each other with like love. But sometimes it's like, oh yeah, that's cool. and then like the depth of feedback isn't always necessarily there because we like love each other. But like in industry, there's like no loyalty. So they're like, yeah, no, change that, change this. And it really does help to have like industry level feedback at such like a fast pace because your project evolves so much quicker and to like such a high standard as well. So like when industry comes in, it's really helpful like for our uni projects, but it's not like a constant rotation of feedback. So yeah, I think the pace of feedback was really cool.
You got some pretty high level feedback as well, didn't you? You're like
Really
Niels.
high level
You spoke to
feedback.
Niels about 4
Yeah,
times. You
I know.
and the head of strategy here you spoke
Marco,
to.
yeah.
I mean, incredible. You
Yeah.
know, but yeah, I mean, I think that was the thing, right? Isn't it? Like, you know, you want to be talking to people about your work, and there isn't always the opportunity in the university setting to be able to do that. And what about you, Anand? What was the best thing?
I agree with like them about like collaboration as well, but I think the best moment for me was like the launch day. Like when I was so nervous to go present alone in front of all these people. And when I was like finally done with it, I felt so proud of myself as well. Like I think it felt like I've accomplished something. Like and like I've poured in so much of my time and effort into this, and like I've pushed myself like in a space that I've never even imagined myself in. So like I think individually, I think I felt a bit proud of myself. So I think that day would be the best moment of my residency.
And his big audience, wasn't
It's
it?
a
And it was
big
an
audience, yeah.
of like big people as well.
I was so scared. I would never imagine myself there.
But you were also confident when you presented. That's the mad thing. You know?
Yeah, it's insane.
I know. It really did come across. Honestly, it really did not come across that you guys were nervous at all.
It's insane, yeah.
It felt, I mean, loads of people come up to you on the night and were just like, kind of the way your guys presented was like better than agency, you know, like it was incredible.
And also the affirmations from people as well. Like after I presented, like lots of people came up to me and talked to me like, yeah, that's a cool, interesting point that you found out. And like, I think that like really boosted my confidence as well. Like it made me think like I think I have skills to like find these things and like put together like a presentation that people can understand. I think so. Like I think it was helpful for it to help me build confidence as well.
Amazing. I feel like we've covered this a little bit already, actually, but was going to talk about the kind of changes in the way you learn. I mean, I think you have talked about that a little bit, but maybe is there kind of one thing about the kind of difference between being here, working here, and being, because I think just looking at the progress that you made in 4 weeks, if every week at university you made that level of progress as you were here, it would be amazing. So, but it's, I mean, as somebody who's interested in education, I suppose I'm trying to work out why that is, what the kind of individual ingredients of that are, because we can kind of recreate them, you know, like somehow. I don't know.
I don't know if this is hitting what you wanted to like answer, but I think for me with the whole feedback thing, I think the constant feedback, although I think there was a period of time where there's so much feedback, I think we learned how to use the feedback to our advantage. Because I think a lot of us, because we were obviously around so many important professionals and people in the industry, we were like trying to hit every single part of everyone's feedback, and it was like that's unrealistic because everyone's going to have everyone in industry and in life is going to have a different opinion and a different perspective on what you're showing. So it was kind of, for me especially, I feel like it taught me how to look at that feedback and say, okay, they think this, and how can I make this work, and how can I make it work with this, and kind of filter out their opinions and their views and stuff, and like use it to my benefit, because instead of just completely changing everything just to fit everyone's, because you're never going to be able to please anyone. So I think being able to learn about how to use that feedback into your work in the future was very important, I think. And it translated into third year, especially now, because we're doing D&AD, and it's kind of like people are coming in every week, and we're able to take that feedback and use it to further ideas.
Yeah, good, really interesting. Any other points?
I think one thing that was different as well is that whilst we were on floor 1, and we were doing our brief, we were allowed in different rooms, and we were kind of used to like case studies for other people's work.
Yeah.
And I think kind of what Taylor was saying before, where it's like we were genuinely having fun, and I think a part of that was feeling like we were included in other people's workflows as
You
well.
felt part of the
Yeah.
agency, actually. No, I really, because they brought you in on a couple of brainstorming sessions,
Yeah,
didn't
exactly.
they? And you know, like I think it's amazing, right? Like I think the generosity of, you know, I think we're good. We are the Uncommon fan club, but you know, like, but I think the generosity of the people here is just insane.
No,
really,
yeah.
You know?
And like I think even being in a room where it's like they want to hear from me, and like
Yeah.
wherein like a younger voice is like taken as like this is a good valuable piece of information, and this is like something that we can mold a project around. Just that sentiment alone was like very strong, so we would go back into our room and be like, okay, fired up again, let's go, because obviously my words and my opinion has value.
Yeah.
So I think it's also being integrated in other work kind of made ours strong as well, because it kind of
Yeah.
reinforced our ability, if that makes sense. Yeah.
That's a really good point. Anything else?
I mean, I think it all felt like really real.
Yeah.
I think it's always in the back of your mind at uni that it's like hypothetical, unless it's like DNADs or like a live brief or a competition brief. I think like the first year and a bit, year maybe 2, it's like quite hypothetical. And it's when you get here, it's like all the stakes are quite high. So it kind of motivates you a little bit more, like, because there's like a possibility that you can actually like see it fully develop. I think it gets you a little bit more excited.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it's just a shame that some people decided to criticise universities in their final outcomes. They can get paid.
No.
Has to be said.
So that's a whole nother story. And Anne, anything?
I think it adds like a sense of maturity as a designer as well. Like having our opinions being valued, I think makes me like mature as a designer. Like if I'm designing something, I think it makes me more confident that this I'm doing something right, and I think I'm more likely to convince people about my designs, because like most of our job is to like pitch our visuals as well. So like if I'm not confident in my visuals, then I cannot pitch them. But I think if a lot of people agree with what I have to say or like what I have to offer, I think it I think it inherently like makes you more mature, I think, as a designer as well.
Really good. I mean, really brilliant points. Okay, so a couple more questions and then we'll finish. Do you think this experience was so special partly because of where we did it? And I suppose, you know, what about Uncommon? I mean, they are a bit of a phenomenon. I mean, what is your perception of Uncommon? What do you take away?
I think this isn't a very like cookie cutter traditional agency, and I think coming from a university that's also not very cookie cutter traditional, like our design studio is literally like wooden walls and stuff. Like we aren't in a traditional like you sit here like university space. And so I think finding an agency that has the same values as Ravensbourne was very strong. And I think even with the work that they produce is very like never been done before, very outside of the box, like pushing the boundaries. And I think because we are young and we want to make cool work and fun work, to have like an agency that pushes you to make that crazy idea or the idea that someone wouldn't have thought of, I think that's why it worked so well, because it was like a very good match between us, Ravensbourne, and Uncommon, because I think like Soul Sisters.
I agree. I think because even in their first like videos, and you know, it's like, oh guys, so hi, we're Uncommon, and they show the videos, you see a rat in a boot, orange on a dress, and it's just like, what is that? Like, what is that? And then you see the storytelling in it, and you're like, oh, that's actually quite cool. And you're like, I wish I could do something like that, like something so weird and but like so clever. And I think for us, like as students, we kind of have that creativity and we have that drive to want to be like people to be like, oh, what is that? Like kind of thing. So I think that's why we were all quite I think we all did quite weird things. We were all just going crazy with it. But I think that's what kind of drove us to just try and think outside of the box. And I think that's why we enjoyed it so much.
Yeah. Any other kind of gems about Uncommon?
I think like everything, like the majority of creative industries at the minute, like even not just advertising, everything's changing a little bit. I feel like things are getting less and less like traditional, less and less commercial, because I think people are so aware they're like being sold to all the time. So I feel like Uncommon, like it kind of breaks the boundaries a little bit, where it feels more like art, like you're actually creating something meaningful rather than just it being a little bit flat and just selling stuff. I feel like Uncommon's work, it's quite hard for it to like disappear amongst all the other work. It does really stand out. I think that's just because it feels more like art, kind of, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Good point.
I'd describe it as risky, I think. I think they act like a small studio, but they're not really a small studio. Like they take
massive, man.
That's so true.
It's crazy. Yeah.
they take lots of risks, and I think that's what makes them like appeal to a larger audience as well, because like people like seeing exciting things, I think. And I think it aligns with like my values as well, and like the things that I like to do. So I think learning from them how to do it, like is you cannot always just do risky things without no reason. They have a really solid foundation and like reasoning behind it. So like learning from them, like learning from like all departments, actually, like everything is like planned and intentional. I think that's what makes their work, I think, special.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Last question. So it'd just be good to kind of a roundup of what you've done since Uncommon, and how and whether you feel your experience at Uncommon is in, because we're a year on now, so you've kind of done loads of stuff since then. So what have you done, and was the experience at Uncommon, did that have any influence on the things that you've done? So let's start with you, and we'll go that way.
So after Uncommon, I think I did an internship. So like that was my first ever interview, which is insane, because like I would have not been able to talk if it wasn't for Uncommon, because like I get so nervous when I meet strangers. Like it's I think it's because I'm introverted, but I got the job, and like I did like a 2-month internship after that, and
Where was that?
it was at BBLP. I worked on,
of course, yeah. So David came to so that was was that kind of through this, or?
It could be, yeah. I think David told me that he came to the launch party, and like he saw all our work, and like he was impressed. And then when I applied through the job board, then he got back to me and was like, "Can you do this can you come down and give us an interview?" And he was like, and I went down there, and I think I made a pitch deck just because I was so used to making pitch decks, because like we were like giving elevator pitches like every single day. So which was in like I wasn't going to make a pitch deck for myself, but like I think that experience has a lot of influence in like me deciding to make myself a pitch deck, which I think really helped, because like no one goes to an interview with like a whole deck explaining who they are, like who their personal, what music do they listen to. I had all those things on my pitch deck, and it just gave me a lot of confidence, and like that added on, I think that added on to like my personal design philosophy as well. Like I think more intentionally, and like
Brilliant. Chloe, so you came back to Uncommon for a bit.
I did. I came back for, I think it was 5 days, to shadow Marco in strategy, which was really nice. And I kind of like, he set me up on some calls with some people, and it was a really nice like networking experience, because I feel like when we were here, we were so busy. And we did meet a lot of creatives, but everyone's kind of everywhere because it's such like an open worky space. So I felt like it was so rude to just sit down with people, even though I'm sure they would have been fine with it. But yeah, like I got to meet a few people. Like I've made some valuable connections just from coming back and shadowing Marco. But yeah.
But also you did the thing at
Yeah.
Creative Lives in Progress.
Yep. So I had a couple like PR-y things that I did after. I think like, yeah, my kind of experience was a little bit different in the fact that I never thought I would come to university. So the fact that I've ended up coming to university and also having an experience like this, it was just unexpected. And like, yeah, so I did a lot of like PR about how like creative careers and education can feel uncertain, but it's like experiences like the residency that make it like worth it, if you know what I mean, and make it feel like a more secure, like correct decision. It like reaffirmed that I did the right thing by like doing a creative degree, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Great. What do you think you're going to do next year or after the uni finishes?
We were literally just talking upstairs about about this. I'm considering Brixton finishing school
Okay.
as like a last little push.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do kind of want to get into a role as like a junior creative because I've been told that you can't get directly into strategy necessarily, or like there's different routes into. So I'm just gonna see what happens and try my best.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
It was interesting. We had Natalie. You met Natalie Lau, and she was talking about her route into strategy, and it was really interesting.
Yeah.
Like because she started kind of sleeping on her mate's floor and
Yeah.
and just doing whatever
Yeah.
that was available in an agency. So yeah, it's good. Heaven, what are you doing now, Heaven?
I'll get to that. But I think after Uncommon, I think we did quite a lot more industry stuff. Me and Teo, we went to Paris.
Of course, yeah, you went to L'Oreal. I forgot about that.
We went to Paris. And basically we were just like we're doing some AI consultancy work with them, with L'Oreal. And I think having this...
As you do.
So casual about it.
Yeah. But having this opportunity to like obviously build our confidence with higher ranking like professionals, being able to go into a room of like L'Oreal executives and be like, yeah, listen to us because we know what we're talking about. I think that's
That was nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever way you look at it, that is nuts.
Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah, it was a crazy experience, but I think Uncommon definitely set us up to have that confidence to stand in front of, don't even want to know what their paycheck is, but like very high, and be like, yeah, listen to me, my voice is important, my voice has value. And after, basically one of the people I connected with from the residency last year hit me up on LinkedIn recently and was like, oh, I remembered you from last year. We have a role opening up. And basically we had a couple chats and I'm starting as a... so weird. I'm starting as a junior new business executive at like the end of this month. So
Wow.
yeah, no, like proper full
So you're
circle.
gonna be in this building.
I know, that's crazy.
Enjoying the paycheck
That's
from
actually
someone.
crazy. But it's really full circle, I think, for me specifically, because I learned so much from being here for a month. And obviously I'm doing something slightly different from what I've been training towards. And I think there's so much to learn here. So it's like, why not? I get to learn a new thing. I get to build new skills. I still have my like creative edge. And I'm in the building. I'm in the building and I can learn from so many people, because think about how much we learned in that 1 month. Imagine now. So yeah, really excited.
This building is a bit of a hub, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like there's so many people coming in and out, and directors and production companies, and like it is. Yeah, I think I completely agree with you.
In the summer, I was a copywriter on the most recent Snapchat campaign,
That's right.
which
yeah,
was
you did
quite,
that, yeah.
at the time I was like, oh. But yeah, that was actually really fun.
And that went out, right?
Yeah, that's live now. So at the time I was thinking, oh my God, this is a bit scary. And it was weird because when I came here, I was so confused on what I wanted to do and what I thought I was good at. And I think doing that as a like copywriter on that brief, I think I was like, okay, this is okay, this is interesting. But I kind of was like, what if I did more strategy stuff? What if I did more? Because we did a bit of art direction and a bit of copywriting as well. So it kind of gave me a hint of kind of the daily life of what a copywriter would do. There's a lot of Excel sheets and stuff. I was like, okay, there's a lot of words. But yeah, that was really fun to do and just gave me a good insight. Because yeah, after this, I was like, oh, this is real life. And then yeah, as everyone was saying, we went to Paris. And I think, as she was saying, the kind of confidence that we got. And I think being here, and I think because we were all together as like friends, we forgot where we were for a minute. So we were in Paris as friends, and we literally lived together as well. So it was kind of just going from home to there, holiday together. We were having dinner with the duck roast of L'Oreal as executives. Sorry,
Yeah.
blah blah. But yeah, and we were just like yapping to them about what we do and kind of who we are, and we kind of just forgot that they were who they were for a second. And then they just like, oh yeah, but here's some Valentino perfume. And we're like, oh, so even just that, like just yapping and just like being able to feel like confident in who you are as like a creative and as a professional was just like quite fun and just exciting.
Amazing. Well, I think we're going to end there. That was a good. I mean, it's just brilliant to hear all of that stuff and so many insights and so many kind of really kind of good observations about how agencies work and loads for me to learn as an educator actually. So brilliant. And what's brilliant about this is we've got 3 guys who are from our current residency. So we've got Toby, Oscar, and Isaiah who are putting this thing together. So we got like full circle business going on. So it's brilliant. So thank you so much, guys. I thought that was fantastic, and look forward to seeing you kind of rise through the echelons of advertising and start your own multi-award winning agency at some point. I'm sure it's coming. It's coming. All right. Cheers. Bye.